All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Andy, I see you.
Good afternoon.
Hey, I can hear you too. How awesome is that? Welcome
Technology.
everybody. So this is my layer down here. I'm doing the remote thing, as are you, Andy, as is most everybody here right now. Today is Friday, April 17th, and we're getting ready to start off our half-hour happy hour. So welcome everybody for joining us here today. We're gonna do a quick recap of last week. So Andy, you've got a colleague of yours named James who joined us last week, and we talked a little bit about Zscaler and securing the remote workers, the remote workforce that we have nowadays. That's had a massive influx. So we talked about phishing attacks, and we talked about cyber attacks, and it was really good episode. If you guys need more information on that, recommend that you reach out to your client relationship manager. Everybody on this call should have one. So if you need some more information, please feel free to reach out to them. I do want to remind folks here that we've got a really good LinkedIn campaign, and we're getting a lot of support for it, and we're getting a lot of good likes and a lot of good mentions and a lot of good following. So if you guys have a moment, check it out. We're posting information, industry news. We're talking about what's going on, legislative affairs, what's going on now with, recent events and what's going on in the world. But strongly recommend you check us out there. You're going to see invites for things like what we're doing here today as well. So today we're going to be talking about HOTS to VoIP. And this is a kick that we've been on for some time now, and for some it's pretty challenging. For some it's something that they might not even consider doing. Many people think about running a marathon or cooking a really good beef Wellington. You think about it and you want to try it, and sometimes you make it partway through and you don't complete it, and there's a few of us that do it all the way through, a few of customers that do it all the way through, converting off of the Lex, off of copper, and it's a pretty big task if you don't have the right partners. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And with us today we have Andy Clutter. Andy, thank you for joining us today. Andy's one of our sales engineers down in Atlanta. Andy, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know, maybe it's a southern thing. Were you born in Atlanta?
No, I was actually born up north.
Up north? Okay.
Yes.
So who's Paul and who's Andy? Sorry to put you
Yeah,
on the spot.
Paul.
For those that don't know, I sent a note out saying I'm excited to have Paul Clutter joining us here today, and I've always called you Andy. I never knew that your real name was Paul, or vice versa. So can you give us the 30-second story there?
It's really nothing to tell, but Paul is my first name, and it's a family name, and my parents always wanted to call me Andy, so Andrew is my middle name, and hence Andy is what I use.
I love it. And so we have, Anson, who's on the team as well. His name is David, but I don't know that anybody's ever called him David. But I thought maybe it was a Southern thing, maybe it was an Atlanta thing. So anyway, I'm glad you're here. Sorry to throw that one at you here today. But
If it were a Southern thing, I'd be going by Bubba.
dynamite. All right, so let's get started. Like we said, VoIP is it's a pretty big challenge that a lot of people are thinking about how to do it, when to do it. It's not new. I mean, it's been around for a really long time. Today we want to talk about what are the main reasons to do it. What are the main things that maybe have people concerned, or thinking about how can I put this in my priorities? What kind do I want to do? There's quite a few flavors that Andy's going to be showing us here today in regards to what your endpoint locations might look like, and headquarters could be different from a remote office, obviously. And then I've got I call it a really cool tool. I think you guys are going to like it. It's pretty in depth. everybody on this call will have this available to you. It's something that we're going to go over with you if you guys want some more information on it. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. So top reasons. So Andy, I threw these together. You tell me if there's anything else that you would add, or if you think that there's anything that's worth talking about here. BCDR, Andy, you know what that is, right?
Yes.
All right, so business continuity, disaster recovery. It's funny, there's a lot of people that don't know that. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. Feature rich, tons of included features. I don't want to call them free, but they're all included. You'll be able to fix your budget for a very long time. It's a set price for the duration of your term agreement. You don't have to worry about fluctuations, and many great reasons. But I think cost is a really big thing. So that's what the really cool tool is going to show us here a little bit. So there's also the other side is, I'm a little, I don't know if converting is right for me. I don't know which way to go. I don't have wiring inside my restaurant, my retail store, whatever it might be. And those can be legitimate concerns, and maybe there's some ways around it. So we'll talk about that. There's some philosophies that are out there of hey, place an order, ship it out, and let's see how it goes. We don't do it that way. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then there's we've had restaurant customers that talk to us about how do we encrypt it, and if I'm giving a credit card over the phone, how is that going to be taken care of? So one of the things that I wanted to talk about really quick here is the BullsEye Way in regards to how we do it. And Andy, you might touch on that a little bit more later because we've got a lot of different flavors here, but we do it with everything included. So it is the phones, it is network testing, and that's from a remote test as well as from a on-site test when we go there to install phones, and then when we get ready to leave. So there's actual testing, and because I mentioned that when we go there, there's professional installation that's included. So that's something that a lot of our customers might not, or a lot of our competition might not be doing, but wanted to share some of those high-level pieces. Yeah, so let's jump into a couple of the different flavors. So Andy, I'm glad you're joining us here today, and I wanted to make sure that everybody had an understanding of what's available, because not one flavor fits all, and some customers may want some one area, some a different flavor another area. Would you mind walking us through a couple of these and the high level version of what each one of these means?
I sure will. So starting out, we do host ours on the BroadSoft platform. So BroadSoft is our feature server, and we do have this in redundant data centers for reliability and redundancy sakes. But with those, it gives us the capability to provide and deliver VoIP in several different varieties. As you see on the screen, we have our hosted PBX, and we'll speak about that in just a moment. But we also have integrated voice, which is a POTS replacement type of delivery. Then we have our standard native SIP trunk delivery, as well as IPPRI capabilities. And we have straight UCast, where everything can be essentially virtualized with soft phones or mobile clients. So starting with our hosted PBX, really it's exactly that. It's PBX in a cloud. We're hosting it on our BroadSoft, which means that there is far less hardware for you as a customer to maintain. So it reduces your operating costs, and we can deploy this with the feature set that very closely matches what you may already have in place. Everything is scalable with this type of solution, so you can start out with as few or as many as you need and build upon that as demands change. Additionally, we have Polycom, OB High, Panasonic, and Yealink handsets that we can support. This gives us the variety that we can match the type of handset to your business needs.
So who would be the best candidate for a hosted solution? Think about our customers and you guys that are on the phone, you guys have new locations, you have maybe some older locations, maybe there's big locations, maybe there's small locations. Who would you say, just kind of putting them into a box, Andy, who would you say is a good candidate for the hosted version?
That would have to be a pretty big box because the hosted PBX solution meets so many different type of communication environments, being that we have the ability to provide hardware on the desk if needed, as well as the ability to provide it mobile and a hybrid thereof. We can have the desk set for those that report to a physical office location, then provide the mobility. Now, if we were to look at what the type of candidate, what may prompt the switch to hosted PBX, if you've got legacy hardware that is becoming costly to maintain or is end of life, and you don't want to have that moment where it turns belly up and you have to immediately react with a new solution. So this would give you the ability to migrate into a new solution, starting out with that particular site, then build upon it. And being that we can deliver the various different solutions that include the integrated voice, the SIP trunks and IPPRIs, you can start out by creating a migration strategy that allows you to port your numbers over to BullsEye, and we in turn connect those to your legacy equipment. Then when the event occurs that you have to migrate, or you are trying to be preemptive in that type of event, you can start to migrate those very easily, just utilizing BullsEye with very little outside influence in accomplishing the task.
Awesome, thank you. Ready to jump to integrated?
Let's jump to integrated.
All right, what's integrated, Andy?
So integrated VoIP is our ability to deliver off of our BroadSoft a POTS alternative. So, POTS has historically been costly. We've got the FCC forbearance at play, and this will allow us to take control of those numbers, re-deliver those back to you as the customer in a more cost-effective manner. In addition to that, it gives you, the customer, the ability to manage these assets much more controlled than versus with a large carrier. Being that the BroadSoft is a feature server, you can go in and configure any type of rerouting that you want by point and click utilizing the portal that we provide. So it's instances where we would deploy this is definitely a replacement for voice lines, where you've got POTS connected to maybe a legacy key system or hybrid PBX. That certainly is one aspect that we can provide with our integrated VoIP. And then we can look at other solutions where you may have connectivity to certain types of devices that require analog connections.
Yeah, we've liked this for a while. I would say, so I've been with the company since 2009, and right out of the gate, we were doing these and promoting this heavily because of the ease of the conversion, right? You got a little ATA, a little analog telephone adapter, and it goes in the back room. You don't have to worry about wiring. You keep your existing phone, so you don't freak out the employees of bringing in all new shiny new phones. So I called it the starter kit, just because it's the quick way to get onto VoIP and get off of copper. So anything you want to add to that, Andy, or we're ready to move on?
Let's move on.
Sweet. SIP trunks.
SIP trunk. Of course, SIP has been around for some time now. Not always widely adopted because typically it requires a PBX on site that has a gateway that can accommodate SIP trunks. But having the ability to deliver SIP trunks allows the customer to migrate over from legacy PBXs to an IP-based PBX. And of course, that migration strategy, you can start out with integrated voice lines for your voice trunks, and if you have the need or the capacity, you can integrate those into IP PRI trunks. And ultimately, if you want to start eliminating hardware, then we can go with the native SIP route and provide SIP trunk. With the SIP trunks, you do have or gain the ability to host DIDs. And with the DIDs, direct inward dials, these are additional numbers that can be assigned directly out to individual extensions or into certain call flows, even including contact center solutions. So it provides a lot more flexibility with your PBX solution. It allows you to reconfigure and maybe make a more direct interaction between your customer contact and your staff. Also, has disaster recovery at the root of it, so we can create, utilizing enterprise trunking, overflows that allows you to redirect your calls from one PBX instance to another. And this is all part of a voice continuity plan if you have the need for that.
The reason I like this one is because it's got the biggest savings, and we'll show you that a little bit later on the really cool tool that we got. But SIP trunk is once you're there, it's fantastic, and rock solid, of course. But it is by far the least expensive way to go and heavily feature rich. So thank you, Andy. Walk us through what an IP PRI is. Can you kind of tell us what the difference is between that and the old legacy PRIs?
Yes, so the legacy PRIs, also called TDM PRIs, it's becoming more and more difficult to subscribe to these. This is legacy. The TDM PRIs are legacy technology, and of course, the carriers, they want to get away from this. This is an expensive network. Everything is going in the direction of Ethernet over, whether it's fiber, copper, or some other transport. And that really does not bode well with supporting TDM PRI type solutions. So BullsEye has created the IP PRI solution where we can host PRI delivery over the top of any type of Ethernet transport. And the reason why this is relevant is for some of those legacy PBXs. If you have the investment into that PBX that has PRI connectivity, then we can replicate that. And again, those features are DIDs. And then at the heart of our VoIP core, we have the direct trunk overflow capabilities, so that way we can provide some voice continuity with the solution. IPPRI is very parallel with SIP. As a matter of fact, we do deliver the voice service to the site of SIP, break it out utilizing a IAD type device, and convert it over to that legacy PRI handoff.
Yeah, and we get requests for quotes for TDM PRIs, replacing their existing TDM PRIs, and we always will try to steer our customers, away from that. Just trying to get off of that legacy service, that legacy solution, that costly solution. The disaster recovery options aren't there. The costs are much more than the IP PRI solutions that are out there, and really the availability is becoming a real issue lately. So if we do that, please know that we have your best interests in mind. It's not because it's a higher profit product for BullsEye. It is legitimately a better solution, least costly, higher value, and that's why we've been really promoting the IP PRI solutions here. And then the last one we have, Andy, walk us through UCast.
Yes, so UCast very well parallels our hosted PBX solution, delivers that feature set that includes hosting a seat, the voicemail that accommodates any inbound messaging from the external callers. Additionally, we can provide the email notification of voicemails. This way, you can function highly mobilized, especially in this time where we have found that anybody with the capability of utilizing UCast has untethered themselves from that desk phone and been able to work from home or wherever they may be sheltered in. So some of the components of this UCast, it begins with our seat within our BroadSoft. Then we extend connectivity out via features such as the BroadWorks Anywhere connection. So that can be the endpoint utilizing any type of external telephone number, or we can more tightly integrate where we have the Unified Communicator. Unified Communicator is an application that can run either on a laptop, PC in a client application, or on a smartphone or tablet in a mobile application. And with that, you get the full feature set so you can make and receive phone calls. In addition, you have busy lamp fields in which you can see the presence of any of the other users throughout your enterprise, and instant messaging capabilities. So if you receive a call and need to communicate with somebody internally, you can utilize that IM in order to extend that communication out.
Yeah, I just showed a quick pic on my camera here. So here's the app on my cell phone. Got corporate directories. I'm able to pull calls, and yeah, it's super convenient. In fact, we promoted it about 2 weeks ago with one of our colleagues, Clayton, and we talked about our remote worker kit, and it's super cool kit in regards to the road warrior, or the employee that goes into the office, goes traveling, comes home, working from home, being able to pull it up on your tablet, your computer, your cell phone, whatever it might be. A really slick product there. So thank you, Andy. I appreciate it. And I don't know if you're going to appreciate this next slide or not, but this is what I had asked Rhonda. Thank you for putting this together for me. It was a lot funnier in my head than it is here. But at any rate, the point of this slide obviously is that it's not one product that we sell. It's all five. You need all five, we'll ship you all five. You don't have to buy one product for all 100, 1,000 of your locations. Each location might have its own needs. You guys might be acquiring businesses out there, and the wiring might not be good on some, or it might be fantastic on new, or you're building new locations and you're going to have maybe another regional headquarters or a distribution center. Each one of those has its own unique nuances in regards to converting over to a VoIP solution. So I think we got a really good lineup here, and thank you, Andy, for going through that. The last slide here that just wanted to have everybody kind of understand how we can do this with 5 different solutions. Andy, do you kind of just want to walk around how we really don't care about transport and other things?
That's correct. Everything with our VoIP delivery is called over the top. So we can utilize BullsEye provided broadband or Ethernet services, or it could be your own. And that brings together a huge amount of flexibility in how you deploy the solution versus having some type of dedicated circuit from a carrier that's going to cost additional just because of that dedicated designation. We've eliminated that by implementing over the top. Also, it does allow us to bring this to the premise in a much faster manner. We do provide white glove service in many of our solutions in the delivery. With that, we can deploy solutions such as virtual tech that allows us to test the circuits prior to even attempting to deliver. And with each, you see that we have our SIP trunk deployment, our IPPRIs, our integrated voice, hosted PBX. All of that is delivered out of the same set of BroadSoft feature servers over the same VoIP core. And because of everything is contained within a single enterprise, utilizing that enterprise, you can create a hybrid environment that allows you to deploy the correct type of voice solution to your premise while keeping everything all within one umbrella underneath BullsEye.
Awesome, outstanding. And we have geographically diverse data centers, also encrypted with VeloCloud. So, voice transmission in between, locations will be 100% encrypted and prioritized, which is something that we can talk about maybe on another episode here. So thank you, Andy. So we talked about this really cool tool. How cool does that look, huh? So don't worry, we're going to get a little bit more in depth here in a second, but I do want to show this to you. I want to do a quick sanity check to make sure that you guys can see my screen. So Andy, do me a favor. Can you tell me if you can see my Excel up here right now?
Yes, your Excel is showing.
All right, dynamite. So we're just going to take a couple of seconds here. This is available to everybody that's on the phone here. I'm going to go through it real quick. 3 different tabs: hosted, integrated, SIP. All right. Hosted, what this is, the first whole bunch of columns that are in gray, those are what you are paying today. This is every single location, $133, $110. This is one of our customers. Marilyn is one of our client relationship managers. This is one of her customers. They have about 200 locations. If they want to convert to VoIP and they want to keep any POTS lines behind, or if they want to convert all of them, that's fine, one way or the other. We default it to 0. 36-month term. Right now, there's no volume discounts on this, but we can talk about that at a later date. But what this will show you is that actual usage, those phone numbers based on what their actual spend is today and the feature sets. Here's the savings that you can see for each one of the locations. I understand it's probably very difficult to see, but this is a tool that's available to you for your last month's billing cycle. You can see I'm scrolling down here. I'm going to just hide these columns here really quick so we can get a little bit more on the screen. And at the end of the day, we're going to roll it all up for you for 12 months, or I'm sorry, 1 month, 12 months, 36 months, because that's the term, $14,000 a month by converting this particular customer from POTS to VoIP. And we do a similar scenario here, again, for integrated. Same thing, I hit a whole bunch of columns just so we can get right down to the brass tacks of what the savings are, and then same thing for SIP. And again, this is available to everybody. We pull these reports every month for all of our customers. There's volume discounts that might apply, but I think it's a pretty cool tool. We spend a lot of time putting it together so that you can get an idea of what you might be spending and maybe where you can reallocate that $14,000 a month. So with that, I appreciate everybody joining us here today. And a couple things just remember. One is LinkedIn. Check us out, follow us there. These reports are actually available through our MBA tool, which is where you can go to log on and see your dashboard and get a lot of reports that are available to you. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, Andy, very much for joining us. And thank you to all of our clients. Stay safe, everybody, and have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.